just come to San Francisco with a hypodermic in your hair, because nothing is dirtier in this country. The roads are broken. Hypodermic needles in children's playgrounds, and they call me a right-winger? Why don't you people on the left get it correct? I want the needles off the streets. I want the human feces off the streets. I want the bums off the streets. I want the corruption exposed. Does that make me a right-winger? Well, maybe you're also a right-winger. Maybe you don't even know what you are, which is why Feinstein and Pelosi have gotten away with this all these years, because you're oh so liberal. You're so liberal that the mayor of Oakland collaborates with drug dealers and lets them escape before ICE comes to arrest them. That's how liberal she is. Nothing to yell about here, though. Nothing to get excited about. Just keep smoking that weed, morons. There's a reason it's been called dope for all these years, because that's what it's made you into. Stupid drug addicts. Dopes. Well, here's what's going to happen. The mayor of Oakland will be arrested and likely charged with abetting criminals, because ICE was coming, and this left-wing fanatic, Libby Schaaf, alerted the drug dealers and the other criminals to get out of town as fast as possible. She blew the whistle on a federal operation that was coming to get drug dealers. So what happened? U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers. You know what they are, Libby? They're U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers, Libby. You violated federal law, Libby. So they went around the state knocking on doors, detaining people who were on watch lists. These were not ordinary busboys or gardeners. These were people who were criminals. These are the same people who killed Kate Steinle. These are the people who drive drunk. These are the people who deal drugs. These are the people who smuggle drugs. And your liberal mayor, whatever her name is, I don't even remember her name. It's a name that shall live in infamy. Went out and released an unprecedented warning that ICE was about to begin arresting people. And she couched her criminality with liberalism, saying that she was going to try and keep families together. Trying to keep families together. What she did was endangered ICE officers. She alerted criminal targets. She did a reckless thing based on her left-wing fanaticism and her political agenda. As a result of the Oakland mayor's illegal acts, only 150 criminals were arrested. 864 criminal aliens ran and hid throughout California. Now, what's going to happen if some of you are raped, murdered, carjacked, home invaded from any of these people? Who are you going to blame? Donald Trump? Who are you going to blame? Donald Trump for doing his job? He was elected to do his job. And yet this loser, this left-wing fanatic, this maniac, has the nerve to say that she was doing it to keep families together. I'm going to ask you, the audience, should the mayor of Oakland, California, who basically acted like a lookout for a gang and blew the whistle on the cops coming to town, should she be arrested and charged with aiding and abetting? Period. That's a very big story. And I want the people of this show around America, never forget the show is heard around America. It may not be listened to at the San Francisco newspaper offices, but my website is bigger than their newspaper. And my radio show is 10 times bigger than their newspaper circulation. And it is national. And I blew the whistle on the human feces and the needles in the street. And the corruption of the mayors like Libby. Should the Oakland mayor be arrested and charged with aiding and abetting criminals? That's topic number one. The phone number is 855-400-7282. 855-400-SAVAGE. I want to play for you now the director of the Immigration Services, Tom Homan, is a former policeman, by the way. And incidentally, he was such a good policeman in upstate New York that your guy, Barack Obama, hired him to work in immigration. That's how good this man is. That's right. He was hired first by Barack Obama for doing a great job as a policeman. Then Trump made him the head of ICE because he wanted a better job done than the other guy who was there. Listen to what ICE Director Tom Homan says about the criminal act by the Oakland mayor, Libby, whatever her name is. Listen to 04.
What she did is no better than a gang lookout yelling police when a police cruiser comes in the neighborhood, except she did it to the entire community. I mean, it's beyond the pale. I've been doing this for 34 years, and this is a whole new low to intentionally warn criminals that law enforcement's coming. I just can't believe it happened.
I'm going to ask you, the audience, and I know most of you are going to say, yes, she should be arrested. I want to hear someone justify. Jim, are you paying attention to me? Jim, the call screener? Someone tell Jim to say yes, or I'm not going to do the show until I get an answer. Get me the people who believe that the Oakland mayor did the right thing. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear someone justifying the criminal behavior of the Oakland mayor. That's what I want to hear. I want you to listen now to this left-wing fanatic, this woman who breaks the law and then couches it under human rights. Listen to O2 on the Savage Nation.
My priority is to keep this community safe. It is not my wish to panic people, but to ensure that they're prepared with information, that they know their rights as well as their responsibilities, and know about the resources that this community offers.
The ACLU, throw them all in jail.
We will continue to dispel the ugly myth that many are perpetuating about our immigrant community.
Now, what is that ugly myth, Libby? Tell me the ugly myth. They were all on criminal watch lists for having committed felonies. You lying creature, you. You are the poster girl for the disgust that America has for sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. That is why you are hated. But you broke the law, Libby, and let me tell you something else, Libby. You are not a law unto yourself. Maybe you were raised by a liberal mother who patted you on the back every time you did something. But let me tell you something. You're no longer in grade school, Libby. The world is watching, and they don't like what they saw. You have told criminals that they can come and hide in Oakland. They can commit one crime after another, and you'll call them wonderful citizens, good citizens, great citizens, better than tax-paying legitimate citizens. What do you mean the resources that are available to them? What resources are available to criminals, Libby? You mean the cockamamie lunatics from the ACLU? Those emigres from New York City? The psychopathic drug dealers with law degrees who put criminals ahead of citizens? Murderers ahead of victims? Rapists ahead of the rape victim? We are at war in this country with a psychopathic behavior that you cannot even understand unless you live in this city, in this area. I've lived here since 1974. I have seen a once great city and a once great state deteriorate into something below a third world nation. You ask anybody who lives here if I'm wrong. This is what Libby and her cohorts have done to the San Francisco area. They have destroyed it. They have polluted it. They have run us all up against the wall. You don't have to like Trump to understand one thing, Libby. You are not a law unto yourself, Libby. You do not set federal law. You cannot violate federal law, Libby. In fact, Libby, you should be arrested. And I'm going to lobby to have Libby Schaaf arrested for having violated federal law. I'm going to ask you, the listeners, whether you think I am right or wrong. There has to be a line that you do not cross. If you speed on the highway, cop pulls you over, you get a ticket. If you run away from the cop, you get arrested. What she did was worse than evading arrest. She did worse than that. She released 850 dangerous criminals into the streets, putting all of us at risk. Now, I'll repeat something that I said yesterday on the Savage Nation, in case Libby missed it. In case Libby missed this while having lunch with the ACLU to see how much she can get away with, to see if she can become a poster girl for insanity and criminality. Libby, when Barack Obama was president and states tried to pass voter ID laws, which are perfectly legal, we were all lectured that federal law dictates immigration law, that states cannot trump, pardon me, Libby, I know that's a dirty word for you, that states cannot trump federal law when it comes to immigration. Federal law establishes immigration policies, Libby. Follow me if you can. I realize it's a long paragraph. I realize you're used to only shooting your big mouth off and never listening, Libby. I'm sure that since you've been a child, you shot your big yap off and everyone had to listen to you. But listen carefully, Libby Schiff, or whatever your name is, Shifty Schiff. We learned under your guy, Obama, that the federal government establishes immigration law, not states, not counties, and certainly not disgusting hellholes like Oakland, California. You have no authority to override federal law. You broke the law. Now, maybe you want to be arrested. It's occurred to me that you may want to become the poster girl for liberalism, and you want to take over where Feinstein left off. Or maybe you want to run for the governorship by becoming a martyr. Well, you know what? Make my day. And I hope that ICE instructs the Justice Department to do the right thing, because if they do not arrest this rogue mayor, you are sending a statement out to the world that it's okay to break the law in California. That's my position. What's yours? I'll be back.
Join the Savage Nation.